What I got here, I got the strap pieces cut out, and they were cut on the fold. So anyway, and I got the interfacing that I'm going to put in the straps. This is going to be the snap flap, and I've got one piece of interfacing. You don't really need two for that, but if you just want it, go for it. And I've got the front of the bag, which I chose this nice little girly kind of independent woman kind of fabric, and interfacing to go in it. And this is the inside of the bag, and like I said, if you want to put pockets on it, you need to do it at the step before you sew any of the inside piece together. So the next step will be to go in and iron all the interfacing to all the pieces. And for the sake of time, I'm not going to do that on camera. I'm going to cut the camera off and do that, and I'll come back and show it to you. Now I've ironed all of my interfacing onto the pieces that they go on. See, I've got the straps here. I've got the snap flap. And what I did with the snap flap is on the outside, I ironed a whole piece of interfacing to it to make it nice and stiff. Where I'm going to put the snap, I cut 2 squares of interfacing to make it stiff, nice and stiff. It's double layered, and ironed those on there. And before we get to anything else, I'm going to go ahead and put the snap on this. So I'm going to show you how to do that right now. And the way I do this is, okay, I want this piece, the smaller piece, the male part of the snap, I guess you would call it, to be on this. And what I would do is kind of figure out where I want it. So I want it right about here, and I don't want it too far down because I'm going to be sewing there when I put this together. So I would take this, and where these little doohickeys are, I will take them and sit them right here and just get a pencil and mark where they're at. And then I will take my seam ripper and very carefully, and I do mean very, you don't want to tear this too much, you just rip a big enough hole in that with the seam ripper to put that through there. Did you see that, or did I get it out of camera range again? So you see there's your 2 little holes. Now take this piece and make sure you're putting it on the outside of the fabric. Sometimes we get so deep into the work we don't realize what we're doing, and I have put it on the inside and then just cussed myself all day long. Alright, you see, I've run it through those holes there. There it is in the front. And now it's going to get noisy, so I'm going to quit talking because I know you won't hear me. I'm just going to take the hammer and I'm going to bang these 2 little things to the side as best I can. There. That laid nice and flat. And there we go. That is our snap piece. And it's not too close to anything, so I can sew around it. This is the other piece that goes with it, and you see that's on there nice and secure. Okay, now we're going to start the sewing steps. Okay, in this next step we're going to sew with right sides together, we're going to sew the outside and then the inside of the purse together all the way around. This is going to be a drop-in lining bag, so you don't have to leave a hole to turn. Make sure when you get to this very last part that that you've ironed and folded over doesn't come up and get caught. The next step is to make our gussets. The gussets, you know, are going to give the bag a little bit of, make them wide, which is good for a bag because, you know, you put lots of things in it that way. And to make the gussets, we want to go in and open the seams where we made our corners, at our corners, I mean. And this is kind of tricky, and if you don't get it just right, the seams won't be lined up when you turn the bag outside. So we're just kind of opening up that corner, and just stick your hand in there and kind of try to work it, work these seams open, because it works better that way. And then you look inside the bag to see if you've got this line in here and this one here lined up together. And you kind of want to work it till you do have it lined up. And once you're in there and you can see that it's lined up, you pull it out so that there's no wrinkles or catches in this. And if you lay the bag out like this is so hard for me to explain when I'm doing something like this, but if you lay this bag out like this, you can see that the seams are touching. Okay, now all I've got to do is pin. My head is still foggy, y'all. I still got that cold or whatever it is, so my brain isn't wanting to work. What I do is I pin. I make sure I've got this seam in the back flat and this one in the front flat, and I pin on those seams. Because if they lay flat, the bag will be a lot neater, crisper, prettier. I'm going to mark it exactly where I want to sew it. And the higher up you sew, the deeper your gusset will be. And in a bag this small, you really don't want a deep gusset in it. You just want a, you know, nice enough one to give the bag a little width to it. Brain's really not working. Okay, so we'll start with the first one. I'm just going to sew along that line that I just marked. Be sure to backstitch a couple of times at the beginning and at the end so that it's nice and secure. Alright, and once you've done that, you can take your pins out, and I'll be in touch with my pins, and you can cut. You just want to cut maybe about a little more than 1/4 of an inch on that edge. Alright, and you're done. You can throw that away. You're going to do this with the corners of the outside of the bag and the inside of the bag. So I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to come back and show you the next step. Now you can see we got our gussets sewn in our bags. This is the inside of the bag. And those, you can see those lines lined up pretty nicely. Got this one. And this one. You see how they're lined up? That's the side of the bag right here, and this is the bottom. And they're lined up really nicely. Everything comes together. Oops, sorry, I don't think you saw me. All the lines kind of meet at the right places. Okay. Now the next step, I'm going to put this aside, and the next step is we're going to sew the straps, and we're going to sew this little piece for the snap flap. Alright, so we'll take a strap, just try to get this even, and I'm going to iron. Alright, so we've got it folded, and this is nice and thick. With the interfacing and all the folding, it is perfect. It's the perfect thickness, and it'll be the perfect width when we sew it. So we're going to take it over to the sewing machine after I get done ironing the second strap. And I'm going to show you how to sew it and get it ready.